Good morning, Northwest Indiana. This is the Town of Dyer Show. I'm today's host, Dyer Town Manager Dave Hein, and with me we have Parks Director Justin Gerbick and Police Chief William Alcott. We're the small little town in Northwest Indiana. You can find us at the crossroads of planning and progress. I tell people to look for us on the map. We have a couple announcements to start off the program. Our Best of the Region campaign is in the final couple days, so we're looking for some support to get voted again. Best place to live. We're going for a fifth year in a row, so we're asking you to vote till March 29th. Very simple. You can text the numbers 929 to the phone number 219-697-6667. Again, 219-697-6667, and just text 929. Help us out. We have a spring cleanup coming up, April 6th through the 10th. Our town dumpster will be open from 8 in the morning till 12 during the cleanup week. Our annual Summerfest is June 11th through June 14th. We'll talk a little bit more later on with Parks Director Gerbick on some details. And always our forms of communication are our website, our monthly newsletter, our text program that you can join. And the radio show is the fourth Wednesday of the month. Our most popular way is to hit us up on social media. Let's see here. We'll start the program with our Parks Department Director, Justin Gerbick. You've been in this position for a couple years now. What do you see differently switching from winter to spring?
Basically the patrons, we get a lot more patrons in the parks. We're primarily a seasonal department or quality of life department. So our spring is a lot more jam-packed than our winter, where we kind of slow down and more planning and preparation for the busier season.
So you can definitely tell when spring is in the air for parks. Yeah.
Absolutely. We'll, even from the maintenance perspective, we have to address more things quicker than we would necessarily in the winter, whether it's garbages, maintaining the soccer fields or baseball fields or softball fields. Definitely, once the weather starts to turn, it's very noticeable that people are going to be out in our parks. They're going to be on our playgrounds. They're going to be there more frequently.
You shed the snow plows and you add the brooms for the field and
absolutely
garbage pickup. So how many parks are in the town of Dyer? We always do this with the third graders that come to visit Protsman, and it's always a fun time where we ask the third graders how many parks they've been to, and most of them will guess 1, 2, 3 because of the big ones, and then we go around the room, and believe it or not, a lot of the adults then finally actually get shocked at the actual number of it. How many are in town of Dyer right now?
So right now, with the acquisition of the park at Monticello and Sheffield 2 years ago, we have 22 parks in Dyer.
22.
We're pushing about 200 acres of parkland.
Wow. That's and you will probably get someone to say they've been at 10, 12 of them, but then we challenge everybody saying, you know what, try to find all 22 parks in town. Becomes kind of like a scavenger hunt.
I lived in Dyer for 20 years. I didn't know there was 22. I knew there was like 5.
Yeah, exactly. So we have basically community parks, neighborhood parks, and then our larger ones.
There's a few green spaces too. I think we have 5 just green spaces. Some of them are detention areas for stormwater that we classify as a park because we can use them multi-purpose where they could be used for other things.
Well, I think it's a great business model. You can never go back and put a park somewhere. So
it's true.
Having green space for future, you never know what it's going to look like. You grew up here. I grew up here. Chief Alcott's been here for a long time, and it's changed many times. You never would have thought as a kid, I never would have thought Calumet Avenue would have came through town.
Yeah.
Those are the dirt roads that we rode our dirt bikes on and walked to the fishing holes on. But now it's a busy road that kind of identifies our town. Why don't we talk about some of the Easter events coming up, since those are right around the corner for the Parks Department. A very active season is Easter, because I think it's one of the opportunities to finally get back outside and everybody to see the nice weather. So go ahead with your Easter events.
Yeah, we got I think we have 3 this week. On Friday the 27th, we have it's called the Excellent Pup Hunt. It's our doggy Easter egg hunt for pet owners. It's for Dyer Dog Park members and non-members as well. That's at 5 p.m. over at Central Park, over at the Dyer
So
Dog
let's
Park.
get this straight. So it's an Easter egg hunt for the dogs.
Yes. So we have tennis balls, which we're going to put some treats in, and then we're going to spread them out, and the dogs are going to go wild. Then the following day at 2 p.m. over at Central Park, we have our Easter egg hunt. It's our 38th annual. That's for humans.
That's for humans.
And then the day after that, it's called our bunny bags, where the Easter bunny will come and visit select few homes. We started this during COVID, where necessarily people weren't comfortable or we couldn't meet in public in the numbers that we did previously. So we did that, and it's pretty popular, so we've kept the tradition going on. And then transitioning to April, do you want me to keep going, or
let's talk a little bit about the human
Okay.
Easter egg hunt there. It's one I took my kids to many times, and so you break it out into age groups so that they're not all competing with you don't have 4 and 5 year olds competing with the
Correct.
12 and 13 year olds. They break them off, and then everybody gets an opportunity to pick up some candy, some Easter egg, and kind of are entered into for a basket prize.
Yeah, so everyone who registers gets put into a drawing for a basket. We try and have about 50% of the registered participants. We have that many baskets, so not everyone's going to win a basket. And we only give prizes to individuals who are there. So if you register and you don't show up for one reason or the other, and we call your name and you're not there, we're going to go on to the next name. We have 4 age groups that get split up at Central Park into each of the softball fields, which kind of gave us a lot more control. Previously, it was at Northgate Park, where we had some in the tennis courts, some on the softball field, and some in like an open area, and it was kind of chaotic. So once we moved it over to Central Park, it became a lot more of a controlled environment.
Is this the first dog one now?
Yes, we started. We have I believe 3 dog-centric events this year, which is kind of something that we wanted to
Great idea.
evolve moving
Great
forward.
idea. I think just right before the show, I just said I never met a dog I didn't like. So
You did.
very, very popular. So spring and summer is also another active season for you. You have several different leagues that take advantage of our parks and are very active over there. And why don't you mention a couple of those and what you'll see busy at Northgate Park and Central Park?
Yeah, so we have 8 total softball fields. They're getting going here in the next couple of weeks. They'll start practicing. We have a Dyer Girls softball league, and then we have a couple outside organizations that use our softball fields for tournaments and soccer fields. It's primarily used by Dyer Kickers, which is local soccer club, and they'll get going here at Central Park and at Northgate Park. It'll be a little challenging this year with all the projects we have going on at Central Park, but we're still going to make sure they have plenty of room to use both facilities.
Well, and I think it's a trophy for the town that we had to build an additional parking lot out there already. So, some people may think, oh, wow, we had to build a parking lot, the cost and all that. And I think what we look at it as is that our resources are being used, and that's what you want. So one of the most popular times of the year is nice weather at Central Park. Mm-hmm. At any given moment, you can see a softball team out there. You can see soccer kids, and then you can see various different groups just spread out. With the contracted field usage with girls softball and some other ones, it's probably difficult to get field time on there, but is there still some opportunity for some local teams to reach out and look at the schedule?
Yeah, absolutely. We try and accommodate everyone we can. Central Park's usually pretty booked up, but we squeeze some, and Fridays are usually pretty open. Northgate is hit or miss. But
how many fields are there?
We have technically 5. One of them's like a instructional league field that doesn't have an outfield fence, though.
Yeah. The new parking lot there this year looks really great.
Yeah, we resurfaced the old one there. It was in pretty poor condition. So I think you're right. It looks really, really good. Good. Well, we see a lot of activity over the spring to summer here with those groups. And one of the things driving by Pheasant Hills Park for as many years as I have been, and I got to see the old football teams out there starting to use that. It was such a pleasant sight to see the little ones out there with their pads and helmets on using the field. Are they out there again this year? Yeah, so actually talked to them a couple weeks ago. They are coming back this year. They're waiting for a facility to be built for them.
Okay.
So they will transition out at some point, but they're going to be back here again, and they start in the late summer, early fall.
Good. Well, and continuing with the progress that Dyer has seen successfully, the amphitheater, if anybody's driven by Central Park, you can now see it pretty much from Calumet Avenue and understand and see that it's going to be an amphitheater that we'll be able to host some live shows on. It kind of gets in the way a little bit with some activities because of the construction zone, but we're looking forward to that being completed for this year's fest. And tell us how you'll utilize that when it opens up possibly. What other amenities are going to be attached to that amphitheater out there?
So there is a concession stand and bathrooms on the back. The bathrooms will be open 24 not 24 hours, 365 days a year. Structure's heated.
I think the police chief just was like, please, not 24 hours.
The locks will be on a timer, so they'll only be open while the park's open, which is dawn to dusk. We're going to revamp our summer concert series. That's going to be shifted over from Pheasant Hills to Central Park. Essentially, all our special events are now going to go over to Central Park. We're going to have our Fall Family Fest would be there. We're throwing like a food truck rally with our summer concert series, which will hopefully generate some more patrons.
Great. And I think this planning is a response to what the community has stated. This council and staff meets and pre-plans and really gets together to kind of see what the future brings. And Central Park turned out to be one of our largest jewels that we've had, and I think the continuation of development out there kind of came on the heels of some residents and some staff talking with the council saying, we need to make sure that this is a destination place, not just for softball players. And I think that's what it's turning out to be. We have a beautiful Gold Star memorial out there for military honorees, and we continue to expand that. We have a new monument coming, hopefully either at the end of this year or beginning of next year when it's complete, but it'll honor all of the Dyer soldiers that were killed in action. It's currently under the works. You have this amphitheater that's in the middle of construction. The event center went out to bid, and the council will be taking some action here soon to see if we're going to get our own event center out on that property. Not to mention, the police department holds National Night Out, a successful event that grows each and every year at the park. So it is definitely turning into be what it's named of, Central Park. We'll end your park session with the Summerfest because it'll kind of segue into the police department as well. Why don't you give us a little wrap up for some vendors that still have a chance to maybe sign up to get out to our fest? And
so as you mentioned at the start of the show, it is June 11th to June 14th. We're at the same location. It's going to be over at Central Park. We're going to, fingers crossed, utilize the amphitheater. And everything will be centered around that. It'll be a similar layout as last year, just shifted a little bit. But, yeah, we have approximately 20 or so vendors have sent in applications and payment so far. Usually we have anywhere between 40 and 60. So there's still opportunities for vendors to get in. They could either go to the Town of Dyer website, or they can call the Parks Department at 219-865-2505. And then we're going to have, there's a carnival that's there. They've changed their ticketing format, which is good. They've gone all electronic. And then also with the upgrade in with the stage, it's really going to, I think, generate some more patrons, which is always good. I mean, good for us, not necessarily for the police. Yeah.
Well, I think our Summerfest has been successful many years in a row, and so what I'm hearing you saying is that if you are a vendor, there's still time to get a spot at our event.
Absolutely.
We're still finalizing the music venue. We're trying to plan and make a surprise for a decent band for our first amphitheater event there at the fest.
Correct.
So we're working on that to make a big splash, and I think one of the reasons why it's remained successful is how safe it is, and that'll segue into the police department's role in Summerfest. And I know this from a previous career in law enforcement that many people in Dyer enjoy the fest, but one thing it was for police, fire, and public works, it was a week that you couldn't take any scheduled time off, and you were all hands on deck to make sure this was an event that went over well for the town. So a lot of behind the scenes went on, and a lot of commitment and sacrifice that went in for the first responders and public works. And there's times where many people see 5 or 6 police officers walking around, and they wonder why. And the reason is that Chief Alcott will explain here is that
It's preventative.
Absolutely.
Visibility is all prevention. The more people that we have out there, the less people want to commit crimes or do stupid things. And we put everybody, the whole police department's working the entire week, besides the people that are working on the streets. Everybody's on duty for 12 hours a shift, and we work around the clock out there to make sure that we have safe passage in and out, and that the people are enjoying themselves without any issues.
Yeah.
It's always going to be that way. We put as many people on the property as we can and make sure that everybody's safe and their needs are met.
It's kind of a twofold for a community like ours, such a great community that really, realistically, knock on wood, there hasn't been any issues with it. It's an opportunity for the community to meet the officers as well. That's one of the bigger PR events of the year, where not only are they there protecting the community and you see the firemen out there on shifts, but it's an opportunity for the community to meet the first responders. There's a turnover in the industry nationwide, and you're seeing younger and different faces, and this is the event that kind of, the kids say, "Oh, Mom, Dad, look at that's Officer such and such. He came to our school the other day," and it's one of those kind of events to bring everybody out, and we're very fortunate that we can enjoy that type of atmosphere at our fest. So we look forward to a successful fest again this year with some amazing hard work by the Summerfest committee, through the parks, through the staff, and we kind of collaborate with the council for the direction, and we're hoping to have another successful year. Oh, as we said earlier, one of our guests, Chief Alcott, is here, and this is a perfect time to talk about what spring challenges are facing the police department. When the weather breaks, there's more activity outside.
Well, right from fall to spring, the electric bikes are our main issue this summer. It's already started. A lot of parents do not realize that the bikes could be dangerous, and the kids are very young that they're allowing to ride them. There's 3 classes of electric bikes. Everybody sees them. Some people think they're going 80 miles an hour when they're going 20. The first class of a bike is a pedal assist bike, which is only 20 miles an hour, which any child can ride. Can be ridden on sidewalks and bike paths. And then class 2 is just the difference is throttle assist, but it only goes 20 miles an hour. Now the biggest issue right now is you're seeing these kids flying around on these bicycles that you can't hear. It can go up to 28 miles an hour, and it's a class 3. And the difference between that is that everybody under the age of 18 has to wear a helmet on that bike. You cannot drive it unless you're 15 years old. If you're under the age of 15, then we will stop you and obviously contact your parents and impound the bike. The restrictions, again, are that the helmet is the safest thing, but the problem is that these parents are allowing kids. We had a child the other day, 12 years old, riding an e-bike, and he was doing 28 miles an hour on a bike, which you can't hear. We will be ticketing and impounding bikes if they are violating the citations, which will be anywhere from $50 to $100. It's a Class C infraction, which is a traffic offense, and so if you're violating any other traffic laws, they can be ticketed. And people are like, well, how can you ticket somebody that's 15 years old? We still can, but we're also looking at making an ordinance to take it a little further, so hold the parents responsible, because they don't understand how unsafe it is for these kids to be on these bikes. And we are getting a lot of phone calls already. It has already started. It's an ongoing issue since the evolution of motorized bicycles. They are considered a traffic vehicle, but you do not have to have a driver's license to ride them, which everybody thinks.
I think it's funny how this generation has been kind of teased for staying inside on the electronics and not getting out for activity, right. And all of a sudden now the trend is to get out on bikes, but they're e-bikes. They're not pedal. You just ride around on them. And a lot of parents, when they buy these bikes, don't realize their capabilities, and you see them zipping around town, and the parents think they're just, it's so neat that little Johnny and Jenny are out riding now and they're having fun, but everybody else sees them zipping in and out of the traffic on the streets, and they get moving.
Yeah, well, last summer we had an issue where 15-year-old's riding one on a sidewalk, and he went across a roadway and he didn't see the car coming, not understanding how to stop the vehicle, ran into the side of the vehicle. Obviously, the best thing was that he wasn't hurt. He didn't have major injuries, but it could have been worse. And not hearing these bikes are the worst part. You used to have motocross bikes, and that was our biggest issues back in Dyer. Kids riding their dirt bikes and coming up on the street. You can hear those coming. These e-bikes, you can't hear anything, and everybody needs to be very observant when they're in the neighborhoods and on the main streets for these bicycles to be going around. But my biggest thing is to tell the parents, if your child's under the age of 15, do not allow them on these bicycles, and make sure that everybody's wearing helmets. because any fall off of something at 28 miles an hour could be severe. And we're praying that nobody gets hurt. We're just trying to get the message out there to be cognitive of these bikes being around, and for the parents to take more initiative on who they're allowing to ride the bikes. I know everybody wants their kid to have everything everybody else does, but the issue is that if you're not above 15 or above, you shouldn't be riding these bicycles.
And is there a place I can find everything we're talking about here? Is it going to be on our Facebook, our social media? Can I call the police station during the day?
Right now it's already on our Facebook.
Right.
The first warm day we posted it, and then other towns are posting it. It's not just special to Dyer. The entire law enforcement in the state, all the states are dealing with it because it's something new. As you said, it's electronic. It's something fun for the kids, and they're finding ways to make them faster. And if you change or alter the e-bike, you can also be violating the statute also for the Indiana code, because only manufacturers can do that. The stickers need to be maintained on the bike so that we know what they are, but our officers are being trained on to how to find that, which is a 750-watt bicycle, and the main thing is speed.
Well, definitely we have progressed. I grew up in the town in 70s and the 80s, and if everybody remembers Officer Starcevich, Marlene, she politely pulled me over on a dirt bike and let me know that dirt bikes were not allowed on the street. So it's nothing new to the town of Dyer. It's just that we've evolved in the technology, and now these are e-bikes that you can buy and get delivered to your house probably within a day or two on some online shopping. Golf carts, are they fall in the same kind of category? And you see,
no, they're actually prohibited for driving on any street or to be motorized anywhere in the town of Dyer. Our biggest issue, we've tried to pass we've had people to try to get it passed. Our problem is that we are surrounded by county and state roads. People, if you're in a gated community, such as one on the north end of town, they have their own regulations where they're allowed to drive in there. In our regular streets and throughout the town, you're not allowed to. Obviously, you can never drive a golf cart on a state highway or any state road, which Dyer encompasses some of the largest roads, state and county, which they're unlawful to be ridden on. You will be issued a citation, and we made some people upset already last year, but just know that you cannot drive them anywhere in the community.
okay, that's great news, and with the spring, you'll definitely see some challenges with that, but we are on it. And I think with a couple minutes left to our show, we can talk about some of the construction sites that people may see as they drive through town. There's a lot of activity going, a lot of progress in Dyer. You got construction there on Calumet Avenue of the amphitheater that you can see from Calumet Avenue. I think the masons are finishing up this week, got some of the iron up, and it's starting to look like an amphitheater. You go a little bit farther north on Calumet Avenue on the east side of the road, there's a learning center being built, a daycare that'll be serving the community, along with the Plum Creek Christian Academy's expansion of the gymnasium and some classrooms there. So Calumet Avenue is in the north end is getting some activity. Just over the bridge by Texas Roadhouse, we have Tsunami Car Wash that's starting to get some walls up. That's going to look nice and be a service to the town. We have a couple new restaurants that are breaking ground. Panda Express, probably one that made the biggest splash because it's right there on Route 30, and they've turned some dirt over as of the last couple days. So you Panda Express lovers will have a opportunity to swing in there and grab some Panda Express, hopefully by the end of the year. Tropical Cafe is coming in next to Cold Stone Creamery. We have Fat Stacks that just came in across from St. Joe's. Rosati's is getting ready to open the doors at their new facility in Sandy Ridge Plaza. What else am I missing here, guys?
Wingstop just opened.
Wingstop, yes, great. Dunkin' Donuts, great additions. I mean, it's starting to be very active development-wise. We have a couple developments that are in the planning stage right now that hopefully we'll be able to make some great press releases on it. Some huge developments on Calumet Avenue. But
I'm just glad that you said Dunkin' Donuts and I did not.
Yes, it is a policy that the police cannot say donut. So, and then for anybody who's looking forward to the train station, March 31st is the opening day. for the Monon corridor, which is the Munster Dyer train station. So just to reiterate a little bit, go to their website or go to the Town of Dyer website and take the link over to you, get some information for ridership. March 31st is the opening day. You will be able to take some direct courses to Chicago without switching trains. I know I see a lot of rumors on social media and a lot of talk, but during rush hour in the morning and during rush hour again in the evening, you'll be able to take some direct trains without switching. In the middle of the day and off hours, you'll have to switch in Hammond if you want to continue on the ride, but at least during the business hours in the morning and the afternoon, there'll be some straight routes to Chicago. Great addition to our region. The police department will, as always, stay on top of the traffic and make sure that all the problems are addressed as quickly as they can. It's like with any new project, we're going to work on it. It's fluid. We'll change what we need to change with traffic patterns as needed, but we're really hoping for a smooth opening and an addition to the region to allow some of our area some quicker transportation to the city of Chicago. Anything else last minute? Any and all for you guys?
I would like to remind everybody, if you're moving in from another state, you have 60 days to put your driver's license and your license plates. Please do that. We get a lot of complaints from neighbors to make sure that we are complying with the law. And then we see that everybody's moved into town. We appreciate that.
I think Chief Alcott just hit on a topic that we could probably have our own show about. So it's the out-of-state plates that plague the border towns. And yes, there is enforcement and activity going on with these plates all the time. Through our code enforcement and our police department, we identify them. And yes, there are some legitimate reasons why an out-of-state plate is legal and parked in the town of Dyer, but there are some not. So they are on top of it. There are means reported to the non-emergency number, and we look into it.
We have a day crew that goes through on a regular basis. You'll get a warning, and then 60 days later, 60 days later, we'll come back, and if it's still not plated, we will give you a citation. So it's a fluid thing that happens all the time during the year, but it's more noticeable during the spring and summer when people are outside in the neighborhoods.
That's usually when our complaints, when people can get out, walk, and get around the neighborhoods, they start calling in things that they see.
And we encourage, if you see something, say something. So we have no problem with that. We will be there.
Absolutely. Well, that wraps up our show here for March. And another successful show, and we appreciate our partnerships with the community. And like Chief said, keep calling us, keep letting us know. We are in this together, and we are shooting for some votes so that we can get the 5th year in a row. Best place to live in the region. Thank you, and enjoy.